co-creating a world filled with positive possibilities while leading by example, My Power of One takes a stand for kindness. In The Wizard of One, Sue Vicory is joined by new guests in each episode to share inspiring stories and challenge the listener to continue transforming humanity one word and one act of kindness at a time. Be sure to stop by mypowerofone.com and join the movement at mypowerofone on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, welcome to our audience again today. It's our second podcast that we've done, and we are at Real Media in Overland Park, Kansas, suburb of Kansas City. Thanks to Brad Burrow for allowing us to come in and do our podcast here. I am Sue Vicory, and this is the Wizard of One podcast with Shebbie. And Shebbie, I need you to pronounce your last name for me.
Jacques.
Just
Not
like
the way it looks.
kind of like it looks. Shebbie Jacques is here with us. She is in San Diego, so we're zooming our podcast today, The Wizard of One. We are considered as part of the My Power of One brand, and we are on a magical journey of kindness is what we are. So I want to welcome Shebbie to the studio, the Zoom studio today, and we between the two of us, we figured out how to both get online today, and our tech skills are growing. But I did want to tell our audience how I met Shebbie and what I know about her. A little bit I know about her journey. You and I actually met in San Diego in the last year and a half, 2 years, and it was primarily through Women Film Networks. A group that was kind of forming at the time, creating a sort of a network of women filmmakers. And, you and I both have been to film school later in our lives, so we've got that in common. And both on extraordinary life journeys, as everyone has the opportunity to be. But I found you especially connected to my life story because of you going to film school later in life, making choices in your midlife kind of a thing after raising children. And but I do want to introduce our guest today. And Shebbie, we're actually going to launch your podcast on March 8th, which happens to be International Women's Day. So I chose that day to honor you and honor the voice of all women, because we represent, you and I represent all women. And but I want to welcome you to the podcast. It's our honor and pleasure to have you. And again, I'm Sue Vicory. I'm the host and the creator of My Power of One brand and also Heartland Films. So both of those are sort of our sponsors today. So in my welcome to you, first of all, you're in paradise. So, what can I say? Welcome back to San Diego, and I know that you journey around a little bit or quite a bit, like I have in life. We're going to talk about the Shebbie Life Series web series that you've had. You created a couple of years ago. You had 9 episodes, and I think you're getting ready to go on another journey. But let's start maybe a little bit by you. Let's start with you introducing yourself a little bit, and maybe talk to me about your life's trajectory, maybe growing up and where you've landed geographically. So talk a little bit about your earlier days on this planet. Let's start with that foundation. Welcome.
Hi, Sue. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you. Gosh, I've waited such a long time to just be able to connect with you and sit down and just chat and have a one-on-one talk about life. And I've been looking forward to this for so long. And so I feel really honored. I didn't think we were going to get together on a podcast like this, so double yay. Anyways, thank you for having me. This is exciting. Yeah, you're right. We do have a lot in common, and I just can't wait to hear more about you as well. So you want me to begin with my early days, the
Kind
early
of.
years?
Kind of.
Well,
Talk us a little bit about through your childhood, maybe, or just the foundation by which, you sort of sprang into in life in the early years.
yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so my early years were not so great. I come from a background of just a lot of trauma and abuse, and not a very nice, happy childhood. A lot of struggles, a lot of trauma, and it led to complex PTSD, which is what um, I'm doing a lot of research on lately, and just trying to understand how that developed within my own life and how I've overcome it during my years of travels. When I did the web series, um, I had a transformation of healing that I went through during that time, and it sparked a curiosity, and I wanted to know more. How was that even possible? How did that even happen? Because this transformation was life changing, and it gave me hope for the future. And so I wanted to go back and find out what were those tools, what were those skills that I didn't know. What were those? I want to bring that back with me and move forward into my future with that. It gave me a lot of hope and a lot to look forward to. So um, uh, I don't know how much uh, I want to go into
Are you
my
are you
past
California
early
based?
days, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough.
Hmm.
I I grew up in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
I was born in Oregon,
Mhm.
but I grew up in Arizona my childhood days, and when I graduated high school, I moved to California. So I've been in California since. So I spent most of my life in California. But yeah, I love
Around
it
the
here.
LA area, is that kind of where you planted yourself?
When I first moved here, I moved up to the Bay Area,
Mhm.
San Jose.
Okay.
So I spent um, probably about 26 years up there, and then came south for more sunshine, came to
Mhm.
San Diego. And so I
Mhm.
spent more the rest of that time in San Diego in the beautiful weather,
Mhm.
climate, sunshine. This is my paradise.
It is indeed paradise, and I think both
Yes.
both of you and I both equally agree of how extraordinary that little spot in the universe is.
Yeah.
Tell me about your educational background. Did you pursue after high school? Did you pursue higher education, or did you get married and start having a family? How did that sort of segment of your life go?
Yeah, so I've always had a desire to learn and go to college, but I didn't have that opportunity again because of my upbringing and um, I was really in survival mode when I graduated high school. I mean, even just going through high school was tough for me. I was homeless
Gotcha.
for the last couple of years
Hmm.
and running from a stalker, just trying to survive and stay alive, but yet school was my sanctuary,
Hmm.
and it was the place where I felt safe, and
Hmm.
I was still able to finish school and graduate, which was my desire. I wanted to go to
Okay.
college, but I got pregnant,
Hmm.
and so that didn't happen for me, and I ended up running to San Jose to get
Hmm.
away from the stalker, and
Hmm.
and that worked out for me. So um, I didn't go to college. So my education, after I got to San Jose, I had a young child. My auntie took me in under
Okay.
her wing, and 3 years later, I got married,
Okay.
and that didn't work out. That lasted about 3 years,
Okay.
and two more babies. Didn't work out there, but um, so I was struggling as a single mom
Hmm.
with 3 young children. I was on welfare, and
Okay.
that was an opportunity for me to go to school. So I signed up for college. I went for a couple of years, and then I got very sick, and I couldn't pursue that education then. So then, fast forward, I met my last husband and we got married, and we were married for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we just recently divorced like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
You guys had
anyways,
couple of kids together, or did you?
we had a couple of
Yeah.
kids together. So I have a total of 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
They're all adults now, grown, doing very well in their own lives with their families. 3 of them are married,
Mm-hmm.
and with children. I have 5 grandchildren as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Lucky.
Yeah.
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 So you had you started in Oregon. You had some Arizona time of
Hmm.
your life, and quite a bit of time in California. I know in the
Yeah.
last year you've had a transition out of the marriage, and that offered its variety of emotions that probably triggered lots of things from years past. And but you're a mom for many of those years, and then sort of what's wild about your journey is how I met you was you'd been to film school already, which, as you know, I
Yes.
went to film school at 48, and
Hmm.
you had already taken your was it a 2-year journey or 3-year journey on your 7 continents around the world, and made a web series out of it. And it's just, my question is, who does that? I mean, what kind of a spirit of a woman who's had especially a past of trauma, no matter what your past is, who pulls the trigger on how do they pull the trigger on that kind of adventure? I imagine your children, your family, your connections were like, wait, what? So take me a little bit through how you made that decision. And your kids were all grown at that point, I'm assuming. And talk to me about the stages of, first of all, going to film school, and then and how the pieces lined up for all of that to align in your life. And then we can talk about the experience of it, actually doing
Okay.
it after that. Set us up for that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm happy to. Yeah, it all started in 2016, just before the end of 2016, when had recovered from an autoimmune disorder. Okay, so that from all the stress and the trauma that I had experienced my entire life. And so when I healed from that, I needed some time to reduce stress. I needed to do something. My doctor said, you need to reduce stress in your life. Now, my husband for 30 years is bipolar 1, so we had a tremendous amount of stress in just that lifestyle. So I needed to get away, and I decided I wanted to travel just to reduce stress. I had no idea what was in store. So when I got well, I felt a sense of empowerment, a sense of control,
Yeah.
a sense of, wow, I can do this. I can heal myself. And I healed through a holistic doctor, Dr. Bronner, um, who got me off of all this prescription medication. And we cleaned up my diet. I was exercising and eating right, and getting plenty of sleep, and all of that. Just my own body being able to heal itself was empowering to me. And I realized, wow, I can take control of my health. Let's see what I can do about stress. So when I took off to travel, I decided that getting out of this environment and into a new environment was giving me an opportunity to self-explore and self-discover. And I became self-aware, and it's like, wow, one thing kept leading to another, and it began opening up a whole new world for me. I just became awakened, and it's like, whoa, this is my life. I had to really face who I am. And it's like, oh, this is me living my life. And wow, my eyes were open, my world was expanding, and I wanted to know more. And my curiosity was increasing. And it's like, wow, if I can do this, maybe I can do this too. What else can I do? It was building my confidence and my self-esteem. And so I just wanted to, I was building a momentum, and I just wanted to do more and more
of
and
it.
more.
Yeah.
And it was during those travels I had hired a friend, a filmmaker, Justin Edelman, who came with me on all my travels to film. I wanted to film and document um, not just the beautiful places we were going to go to, but just I wanted to capture this transformation I knew that I was going through. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I had no idea, but I just wanted to give it a shot and see what can we learn from this? What can I learn from this? Mm-hmm. And it was during our travels and watching Justin film, and just the whole process of filmmaking intrigued me. And I thought, oh, this is exciting. This is fun. I want to learn more about filmmaking and understand his world of filmmaking. And so that prompted me to go to film school and to take workshops. I went for 18 weeks straight. I took workshops on film producing, screenwriting, and documentary making.
In LA? Was it in LA?
Yes, in LA. I went to New York Film Academy in LA. And I was commuting from San Diego to LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour drive each way.
What year did you do that?
That took place in 2018.
2018. That's after you had finished your 2 years.
April through August, I think. I was not done with my travels. Okay. I was done with most of it. Yes. I'm sorry. I take that back. I was done with my travels, but I was still itching for more. I wanted to do something more. I felt like I still had a lot inside of me. I wanted to explore and let go of, and I wanted to do something really that would really push my limits. And so I decided to summit Mount Kilimanjaro in September of 2018. So right after completing my courses at NIFA, we went to Kilimanjaro, and I took Justin with me. He agreed to go and brought all of our film equipment, and we summited. It's nearly 12,000 feet elevation. It was quite an extraordinary experience.
It's kind of like you, in your lifespan so far, and you've got lots of decades yet to go, but it's kind of like you've seen the lowest lows and now the highest highs. And obviously there's always expansion that can happen. But there's lots and lots of people that have had trauma and have had, life experiences, cyclical life experiences that have been unacceptable. But not everybody can make the right turn at some point in their life and move on to the highest of high adventure. Tell us, there's 9 episodes, and I watched some of them. Tell us, swimming with whales, and there's 9 episodes. Take us a little bit through that, the trajectory of that, the timeline of that. And, we can talk about what your takeaway was, but I'd like to in my imagination hear what those 9 locations were.
Wow.
If you can remember them all. Yeah.
Yes, that's a big question. Like I said, when I ventured out, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I was open. I allowed myself to be open and receptive to whatever life was going to bring me in these experiences. So I went with an intention to see what I can get from whatever experience I was going to receive. And one of the first ones, of course, my first episode is on Tonga. It wasn't the very first trip that we went on, but it was the most profound that really changed something within me. And what happened is when I've spent, when you have complex PTSD specifically, or any kind of PTSD or trauma, you spend a lot of time in your head. So I spent most of my life in my head, just repressing my emotions, repressing who I am as a person. And that was my safety mechanism. It was how I coped with my world, external world, and kept myself safe, is by hiding who I am. And so when I went out to swim with the whales, I just felt such a connection with the whales and with the wildlife, and something in me I just felt this connection and oneness with with creation,
Hmm.
with the planet, with the world, with God,
With life.
and
Yeah.
with life. And it's like, wow, I was starting to come out of my with my inner world and stepping out into this outer world and connecting with that. When
Hmm.
I swam with a baby whale, who I named Baby Lulu, she just came out of nowhere. She came out of the deep. I was,
Mm.
floating up on top, and she came out of the depths of the water, and just I saw her approaching me, and she came up rather
Mm.
quickly, and she bounced and bumped right into me, like
Mm.
saying hello. And it's like, whoa, it just shocked me, and it made me feel so good that she recognized me, right?
Mm.
That's how it felt to me. And then a few minutes later, her mom went off the beach, and she's there, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'm swimming next to her, and I'm so excited that we are connecting. I just see her big eye just looking at me, and it's like, wow, this is so exciting. So I can't scream in the water, so I decided to do a twirl. It's like, to
Yeah.
let out my excitement, I did a twirl in the water, and she mimicked me. She
Yeah.
did the exact same thing, and I said, oh my God, that didn't just happen, did that? So I did it again just to make sure, and sure enough,
Mm.
she did another twirl as well. And that just did something in me. It's like, wow, I just felt so connected, and I
Hmm.
didn't feel alone. All of a sudden I felt
Mm.
like I wasn't alone in the world anymore.
Hmm.
So that trip really opened my eyes and brought me out of myself, out of my
Hmm.
head, and into the real world. And I got to start stepping out into that, and feeling safe, and feeling good, and feeling connected. And it's like the outside world is not so bad.
Mm.
There's good there. And so that was a moment of an awakening
Hmm.
and a starting point.
Hmm.
Um, and
Very
so, yeah, that's
profound. Very
very
profound.
profound.
And
Yes,
what a privilege for you to have that experience in your lifetime.
yes.
Where did you go from there? I know you traveled the United States. You were on all 7 continents.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna go in order, I have to start with my very first experience. I wanted to do things that were different. When I told my family I am going to take a year off to travel and have fun, just follow my bliss and have fun, and they agreed. They said, "Okay, Mom, you earned it. You can go and have a good time and just enjoy yourself." Well, they had no idea. I had no idea, but I knew I wanted to do things that were different. They thought, "Oh, maybe Mom's going to go on cruises and just be really relaxed in luxury." And I said, "No, I want to do skydiving. I want to do scuba diving. I want to go jumping off of bridges, tandem base jump." And I kind of surprised them all, and they were initially against it, and just like, "Mom, you've lost your mind. You need to come
Yeah,
home and
yeah.
chill." And it's like, you can't be doing this.
But you did.
I did.
You did.
I said, I need this. I need to really push myself and see what I'm made of. I need to let out all of this um, energy that has been stuck inside of
Hmm.
me, that
Hmm.
has been stagnant and
Hmm.
has held me back from living
Right.
and flourishing as a human being.
Hmm.
And this was my way of doing it. I
Hmm.
needed to step out and do whatever my heart's desire was. And I chose um, in San Francisco, one of our episodes, my very first one we did, we went to San Francisco. I wanted to ride a Harley. I wanted to ride on a Harley Davidson. And so we did that for a weekend. We rented a Harley Davidson. I had a friend of mine who also rides a Harley. And so she paired me up with a friend of hers, and we went the back roads in the Bay Area, and we went up to Stinson Beach. And it was riding on the back of a Harley, and that
Hmm.
there's a sense of freedom. Like, wow, you feel sort of rebellious. For
Hmm.
me, I felt rebellious. It's like, I can do this. I can be rebellious and
Hmm.
still, just and be expressive in that way. Why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It felt free in the open air, sitting on the bag with this big dude in the front riding my bike. And it's like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
is so freeing, so freeing. So from there, we went to Idaho, to Twin Falls, Idaho, to meet up with Sean Schuma,
Mm-hmm.
who is a world famous base jumper. And he has a camp there where he teaches young guys how to base jump safely to learn the skills. And it's the only place in the United States that you can base jump legally. And so he has a school. So he offers tandem base jumping. And I thought, oh, this would be awesome. So, but prior to that, I had already done some skydiving. So I was familiar with jumping, from high places, but I had let me backtrack a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to, oh my gosh, I'm kind of all over the place here, and I wanted to do this in a consecutive order for you to kind of guide you through that journey when it first started. And if I can backtrack a little bit, I want to say that in 2017, when I decided I was going to do my travels and have fun and just follow my bliss, the very first thing I really wanted to do was to skydive. And so for my birthday, I did a tandem skydive. I fell in love with it. I wanted to do it again. So I did it like 3 more tandem skydives. And I said, I want to learn how to solo skydive. So I signed up for some classes, and I was getting trained to be a solo skydiver. And I did my very first solo skydive. And I can't tell you what that does to your psyche for someone who has been so overtaken by abuse and by control of others. Being able to jump out of an airplane and knowing that my life is in my own hands and I get to control my destiny, and it's so empowering. And that was something that I picked up from skydiving. It's like, I can control my own life. No one is going to control me anymore. So it began changing my mindset about my how I see myself and
your destiny.
Yeah. So from
how old are you? How old are you at this point? Not the chronological numbers matter, but it's sort of important for women to understand that, or anybody to understand that life can make a right turn, at any decade of our lives. So you've raised your children, your 5 children, and you've made this decision to, heal. And tell me what's the timeline look like age-wise?
Yeah. So age-wise, when I did the skydiving, that was my birthday. My birthday present to myself. I had turned 56.
Gotcha.
So I was 56 years old. And my youngest had graduated college, so I had no children. So I was all on my own and ready to go and say, it's my time to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And at that time, I thought I had a lot of energy and vitality after healing from autoimmune disorder. And I wanted to just do this, just really do things that people said, no, you cannot do that. You're too old. And I'm like, age is just an attitude, it's how you feel. And I didn't feel old, and I don't know what old was then. I mean, I felt old before, but when I got healed and had all this energy, it's like, age is just a number. I am going to do things that match my energy and match my attitude. And so
Shebbie, at this stage of your existence and whatever chronological, and looking back on all your years and the choices that you made, what wisdom would you pass on to other women at any decade of some of the transformation that you've had? What are some of the key words or support you would give to somebody else that's contemplating change or freedom or all those words that you've mentioned? What are some of the 2 or 3 takeaways that
Yeah.
At this point, you
Yeah.
would say, if you were sitting with some young woman that was in the midst of where you used to be, say, what would be
Yes.
your advice to them? What would you
My
share?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So my advice would be to have you need to have a growth mindset. You need to believe that as you get older, getting older doesn't mean that you are working to a time period where you have to slow down and stop doing things. Because the way society, the message we get from society is that once you've retired and your kids have gone off to college and you're just supposed to start slowing down and just start being more careful. You can't be too active because you might fall and get hurt and you can't get up and that sort of thing. But
So you did the reverse of that,
I did
basically.
the
You're like,
opposite.
whatever the norm is or whatever I've been
Yeah,
taught the norm is, I'm going to throw that
yeah,
out the window and I'm going to, if not now, when? And
yeah,
not just had the
yeah,
idea and the inspiration, but you actually did it. So that's the difference between someone that has a dream or a,
yeah.
possibility of what could be, but you actually took the action step, that's a remarkable part of it.
Yes, you have to take that step. And once you take that first step, it
Mm-hmm.
just builds your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And it builds, once you start building your confidence and your self-esteem, you start developing a mindset that, if I can do this, I can do
Anything's
anything.
possible. Yeah,
Anything
anything's
is
possible.
possible.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, like at our stage of life, we're in the second quadrant kind of a thing, and we, what do you got to lose? But that's a mindset, as you say. Had you at 20 or earlier stages taken that on or learned that, then I mean these are invaluable lessons that you're getting now, and I'm assuming that you want more to come, and you want to keep moving the borders and the boundaries out, and you're like, okay, now what can I do?
Yeah.
And I know you've got something you're
Absolutely.
training, or you got something
Absolutely.
coming up for the future. What is it that you've got going on next?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say, we're entering this next phase of our life, and I just want to say that when you get to our age,
Hmm.
we've developed a lot of wisdom, a
Hmm.
lot of life experiences, and this is our moment to share and to shine for those who are walking in our footsteps, for the
Hmm.
younger generations, for the younger women who are dreading aging. They're
Hmm.
like, I don't want to get old, I don't want to grow old. But at aging, I mean, it's about living through life and gaining experiences, all kinds of
Hmm.
experiences that you add to your own life and your own identity, and there's a quality to that, there's an enrichment to that you want to appreciate, and you want to pass that on to the younger generation. So it's
Hmm.
something you can look forward to. It's like, what can I share, what have I done
Right.
that I can share
Hmm.
that will inspire the younger women to keep growing and to keep
Hmm.
pursuing and keep dreaming, and
And to
and
know
to
there's hope, and there's
yes, to know there's
I can
hope.
be empowered, and
Yes,
I can pay it forward, with my life experience.
yes.
I want to share that I'm wearing your Shebbie's live series shirt that you sent me. It was very very lovely of you, and I want to show one here. But I want to ask specifically about what I call a log line in the back of it that says
Yes,
live your life now. So I'm assuming you chose that, and it has
yes.
a great amount of meaning for your transition. So talk a little bit about that log
Mhm.
line, what I call a tagline or log line. Live your life now.
Yeah, live life now. So yeah, my motto is, the best part of pursuing a dream is the journey, right? It's that journey. It's time to live life, and it's time to live life now. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It's about living your life's purpose and doing the things that make you tick, that make you come alive. It's what is that one thing in your life that makes you come alive.
Hmm. Passion.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be moving forward. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the sort of the impetus of this podcast with the My Power of One brand is centers around the word kindness. And kind is, one of our sort of first words that we rolled out back in 2016. And I actually launched this brand on my 60th birthday. And so I'm launching a new sort of adventure, and I've had many of those in my life. But we now have seen the shirts and the products all over the world, people wearing them in Tibet and, in front of the Eiffel Tower and everything else. So I'm a caretaker of, this sort of inspiration of the brand. But the word kind is what we wanted to focus the podcast on. And one of the questions I could ask you and get your input on is defining the word kind.
Defining the word kind
Mm-hmm.
to me is it's such a big word, and it holds so much meaning to it, and to narrow it down is really, it comes down to how you treat other people, but it's more than just it's how you see others, see yourself in others, how you want you treat others the way you want them to treat you. But if you have that love for yourself, you just automatically want to love that other person. And when you're expressing that love, you're showing kindness, and it
Starts
could
with
be
self-love
anything.
for sure.
Yeah.
Self-love, which is
Starts with self-love.
something
and
someone has
just
to learn, over a period of time.
Yeah, I think it's hard if you don't have that self-love to show real authentic kindness. Authentic kindness comes from that self-love, and showing yourself that kindness, being able to share that with others. And
for you to
did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. But for your
Yeah.
journey, Shebbie, which is unique to you and your life story, and at some point you set an intention to
Yes.
giddy up and go and to kind of live life now, as you said. I'd like you to, because I like to ask questions that are, shocking, but I'd like you to set an intention with me during this podcast, because I'm a big believer that setting intentions is what's going to show up next. So I think when we verbalize them and we sort of put them into the world. So I want you to publicly with me set an intention for your future, next couple of years, next 5 years, it doesn't matter. But set an intention for me for what your future looks like, and let's watch how you manifest that.
Wow.
How do you like that question?
I love that question.
I know.
Because I love it, because it's all about what we do. We're living our lives, and what is that intention that we have when we're wanting to live our lives, right? So for me, I'm in deep research of figuring out or learning all about complex PTSD and how to navigate your life through that. And so my intention is that once I've learned everything that I need to learn, which I've been doing a lot of learning and research on, I want to be able to pass that on and help others, help guide others through the process of healing,
Navigating that.
complex.
Yeah.
Navigating to that, but doing it in such a way where they are doing adventures, because that was how I healed. So, this is just another option for healing, another option or another method of healing is doing adventure travels, or adventure sports, or just embodying your whole being,
Possibility.
your whole person into that part of that process of healing.
So your intention then is to continue your platform for helping others navigate PTSD and still seeking the joys and the passions and the hope in life.
Fulfilling.
Yeah.
To pursue their dreams and their hopes and desires, to um, to live life to their fullest,
Mm-hmm.
and just and and to live their life's purpose, their soul's purpose. If you are doing that, if you are living your dharma, say, um, you are uh, automatically healing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
healing process. Everything we need to heal is already within us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are doing living our life's purpose, we're all born with goals, talent. I mean, we're all born with talents and
Mm-hmm.
gifts
Mm-hmm.
to contribute to the world. And if you are living your life through those talents and gifts, and
Right.
which is really your purpose
Of
and your life,
course.
and it's really where you find your fulfillment. It's
Mm-hmm.
really where you want to be living your life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that is the main, I believe, the main way and the main pathway to get to healing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also for fulfilling your life,
Mm-hmm.
for finding that meaning and purpose and a life of fulfillment.
So two things quickly.
Yeah.
My first guest that I had on last month, Stephanie Tillman, who's been my designer for all my projects for the last 15, 17 years. She used to be homeless and she has the story of healing as well. She and I co-created a new My Power of One word together at the end of our podcast, and it happened to be the word heal. So that is in the brand now because of her. Now, Tony, my last podcast that we just did an hour ago, he and I co-created the word risk together because he's 60. He's getting ready to run his 8th Boston Marathon. And so he's, really, age has no barrier for things.
Wow.
So I'd like to co-create a word together that is going to go into the brand, and it's going to go into the brand because we co-created it together. So sort of think back a little bit to, let's say, the last 5 to 7 years when you've gone on this great adventure. And let's come up with a word that we can put into the brand, and that'll be forever a connection to this podcast. In one word, and a word that maybe has circulated through your heart over the last expansion times. You talked about transformation quite a bit. Transform is a good word. What's coming to mind when you think about one word that defines this last sort of stage of your life?
Bliss. I love the word bliss.
Bliss, yeah.
But yeah, because that's what I was doing, following my bliss.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? I was just following my heart's desire.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I don't know.
bliss is happens to be my word, by the way.
What? No way.
Yeah. When I started the brand, when my girls had their birthdays, I created a new word for them because I can. And my youngest, I created the word artist, and my oldest, I created the word nurture because she was expecting her first child. And then the girls decided that they were clever, and they would create a word for my birthday, and they created the word bliss because
Wow.
they know that's my word. And
Yeah.
so it is. So now together we are sort of connected with that word. My producer, who is listening and sitting across the table from me, has suggested the word flourish,
I
and
love that. Yes.
so I think flourish may be a word that is specific to how we feel about women in life, or women, the possibility of living our best life. The other thing I want to ask is, how do people get in touch with you? Where do they go to watch the web series? Give us some contact information for our audience to go and watch those 9 episodes.
Yeah, there are several places to find the episodes, the 9 episodes. You can find it on Facebook, on Shebbie's Live Life Series, Facebook, or Instagram, Live Life Series, and also a website. I have a website. It's at livelifeseries.com. So those are the 3 places.
It's worth watching those because, first of all, I thought the production value was excellent. The edit of it was excellent, and just sort of watching your transition from a life that you no longer could live to a life that you intentionally were changing or making a decision to live. What's the future hold? I know that you're in training for something that's coming up.
Yes. So my next big adventure is hiking the PCT, which is the Pacific Crest Trail,
Okay.
this summer.
Where does that begin and where does it end? What's the trail like?
It begins at the border of Mexico, Campo, and it goes all the way up to Canada, the border of Canada. It's a 2,650-mile trail, a hike, and it's along the crest of California, Oregon, and Washington.
And you're gonna do it continuously. You're gonna just begin at the beginning.
It's a through hike.
Okay, and what's the timeline look for that?
Yeah, that's my intention, to begin May 24th, to do a through hike all the way through. I'm estimating about 4 months.
Okay. And taking a filmmaker with you, or you're going to have going by yourself?
I'm going by myself.
And you'll document on social media or whatever?
Probably. I will be taking my iPhone and just filming and taking photos. I'm really into taking photos of landscapes. But yeah, I plan to film and to write, just write about my journey.
Yeah.
Just journal it, and share some of that. I have people who are interested in following my hike and see how things are going. So yeah.
Just keeping your audience sort of in the loop with the what'd you say, 3 to 4 months, something like that?
Yes.
3 to 4 month period. And can they go to those same websites to stay attached to you? And you're on Instagram, I'm assuming. And
yeah. I'll be posting on the Facebook page and on Instagram.
Okay.
So both of those.
You know, one of the things we've tried to do with our guests is co-create because I'm into co-creating, an act of kindness. So considering you're getting ready to go on another adventure starting in a couple of months, is there some random act of kindness that we could co-create together that we could invite our audience to engage in? How do you like all those philosophical questions I come up with?
Well, I'm not sure.
Think about it.
What do you mean? Like, give me an example.
Well, Tony, in our last one, his recommendation was to an act of kindness connected to children. So his was spend time with them, mentor them, give them encouragement. So his thrust was, because he had been a teacher for 30 years, was to connect to that generation. So, you're getting ready to go on another wild adventure. You've already been on one. You've had a dramatic life change. What act of kindness could you recommend, considering, your life story? Maybe it's self-care. Maybe it has to do with, transforming or getting bold and saying yes to opportunities. So it'd be something that, as part of what you've done that has been worthy of others knowing about it.
So you're asking like an act of kindness that I would give to someone else?
An act of kindness that you would recommend others say yes to. Just something random that, maybe sitting with a stranger or, just, verbalizing, talking about your trauma. I don't know what it is, because you're passionate about the healing of PTSD. So maybe it's I don't know. It's just, it'd be something personal to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to a day when I can take people on adventures that are, one-time adventures, like doing an indoor skydiving at iFly, or going on a day hike to just be in nature and be awed by nature's beauty.
So leading some activities like that is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
getting into nature and being, with the
Mm-hmm.
miracles
Some,
of life.
yeah, and something to just shake up your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Let's. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
that is that's certainly something that we're both passionate about. As you may or may not remember, my husband and I did a 48-state tour in 2016, and we took our golden retriever and we went to all 48 states. And while we were doing that, we did 12 acts of kindness around the country. And everything one does is transformational and life changing. But to put good into the world, Shebbie is best case scenario for me. But I think we've got people sort of connected to your websites to watch your journey coming up, and maybe reach out to you if they want to know more or follow your next stages of life. I think you've given a lot of hope to the possibility of every decade of our lives showing up, dramatically differently if we want it to be. And I think that's especially powerful and important for women to hear because, by
yeah,
and large, women are caretakers of, raising the children and multitasking and being a lot of things to a lot of people.
yeah.
But I want to say how much I admire you, and I look forward to seeing you next month when I come out to San Diego. Perhaps we can meet up for ice cream. I like to use the word ice cream in every podcast that I make because that's my go-to. But I think it's important for me to connect our community with you and your journey because it's powerful. And are there any sort of parting comments that you'd like to make to ladies in general, or people that are, say, struggling, or those that are looking for adventure, or
Well, Sue, there's so much I want to say, and I'm currently writing my story. I'm writing a book, and I'm gonna just say it all, hopefully, in this book. But I just want to encourage anyone who feels that they're stuck.
Mhm.
PTSD makes you feel stuck in your body, and there's no hope. I just want to just encourage anyone going through any type of PTSD, but people overcoming trauma, to just encourage them to know that there is hope. Just keep just hang in there and keep working. And there's so many tools nowadays, so many methods of healing available, that healing is a lot more accessible for people. So there's a lot of hope out there, to just encourage to go out, seek, and find something that's going to help you. There's so many methods out there. Don't give up.
Mhm.
Just keep going.
And I love the
Life is
idea.
great.
I love the idea of people using their life story to
Mm,
put good into the world. And, obviously, whatever you've lived in your past decades, you wouldn't wish that on anyone, but that you're using it now to better the community as a whole is really a credit to, the gift that you've been given for it to be here. And I do look forward to spending time with you when I come out to San Diego.
yeah.
The word kind, that's one of our sort of starter words in the brand. We started with half a dozen words, and the word kind is available on the website mypowerof1.com, and it's to wear a single word that suggests love or kind or peace or things like that is it's a statement, no, both to yourself and to other people. And so we are promoting and certainly looking for kindness to be the norm, and
Mhm.
practiced, and it's something that I'm intentional about. It's an intention that I set when I started the brand. But I do want to thank you for us magically finding the right time to get on together, considering
Yes.
we worked a little bit hard to get that done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I admire the adventure spirit that you have taken on. It's the exception to the rule. I'm so glad
Thank
that our
you.
paths have met. I'm going to follow your journey, and
Thank
um, and
you.
and once we get the podcast live. It'll be on all podcast platforms that are available. I will post a link. I'll send you a link first. I'll post it, but we are actually going to launch yours on March 8th, which is International Women's Day, and you will represent the possibility by which all women can take on life, and that's a tremendous compliment. Next month, we're actually interviewing a lady on autism, and she has a son that is autistic, and it's something that I wanted to learn about and know more about. So we're going to do an hour with Angela Holt, and we're going to sort of launch that around World Autism Day. So it's just great to sort of educate people about different topics that we're not familiar with. Are there any parting words that you would like to say to our audience? We've got about 3 minutes roughly, but is there any hope, inspiration? I think we've decided flourish
Love
is
that.
our word.
I love it.
And
That is perfect.
mhm.
Flourish is the perfect word. That probably would have been my second choice. Absolutely.
Being bliss is already in the brand. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And that's my message to every woman out there, no matter how old you are. Flourish. In your life, you have that birthright. You go out there and live it and live your best life. Live life and flourish.
Yeah, all the
Love
days
it.
of your life, until you're 90,
Yeah.
90 or however many you get to be here. So it's just a
Yeah.
great testament to what's possible and the
Yes.
possibility of change.
Yes.
But hope is a big word and all of that. We thank you as our guest. So honored to have your story live with us.
Thank you.
The Wizard of One, Magical Journey of Kindness. We set an intention together. We got a new word, flourish, for the brand. Oh, by the way, before we sign off, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Okay, so the logo will be red in your honor. So
Awesome.
we'll put a new word into the brand this weekend, flourish.
Oh, thank
And it will
you.
forever be in the brand because of our conversation and your life journey, and it'll be red because it's your favorite color. So thank you. I
Thank you.
adore
I feel
you.
so honored.
And I will touch base about my my trip to Paradise in March, and then we will follow your journey up the West Coast and wish you safe
Okay.
expansion. So we will talk with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Talk
Love
to you
you
later,
too.
Shebbie.
Thank you, Sue.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.